Good morning, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here with you today to be involved in such a fantastic celebration, and I think Alana and Laura have done amazingly well, and there's such a hard act to follow. I want to start by thanking NIPEC to Carol and Angela for the invite to be here with you today and to speak at the conference. I think it's a fantastic programme and really looking forward to hearing the rest of it, and delighted that our Minister will be able to join us at 11:30. You'll appreciate that he's significant diary commitments at the moment, given his level of involvement in the public health emergency we're facing. So really delighted that he will be here with us today. And events like today are a fantastic opportunity, aren't they, to celebrate everything that's good about nursing and midwifery and sharing the work that you've all undertaken. And a fantastic opportunity to network with each other. And today, as you know better than me, we're having this event in very challenging times. I want to personally give a warm thank you to all our midwives and all our nurses for the fantastic work that you do every day of the year, 24 hours of the day, for your dedication and your commitment and your professionalism to how you carry out that work in what sometimes is very, very challenging circumstances. And those challenges are with us because of a huge number of pressures in our health and social care system. And the pressures that we face tug hard at our professional values, I think, as nurses and midwives. And I hear that every time I go to speak to people, when I go out to speak to nurses and midwives in practice. The values of equity, fairness, advocacy, safety and compassion have all been really challenged for us as a profession. But as I said, one of the biggest privileges that I have is the opportunity to go out and engage with people who are delivering care every day. And I mean, I'm always impressed by the work that's being done, but it actually re-energises me to ensure that that work is translated into policy conversations, decisions at departmental level, and that the voice of nursing and midwifery is heard in those conversations. And I want to assure you that your voice is heard at all levels and across decision-making tables in our health and social care system. And I think that's so important, particularly as we're celebrating the year of the nurse and midwife. And as you know, the call has been for nurses and midwives to have a seat at the table. So I want to assure you that in terms of the Department of Health, that seat is there, and in terms of our trusts, our public health agency and board, there is a nurse and a midwife involved in those conversations. Conferences like today, I think, are a pivotal role in ensuring that voice is even heard further, that you all have an opportunity to share your voice. And I would again encourage people who are not on social media to maybe think about that today and encourage you to have that conversation on social media. Twitter is a good forum for professional conversations, and I would just also remind you to check the NMC guidelines for social media activity before you get involved. It will be reassuring and helpful for you if you're feeling a little bit nervous. And I want to further extend my thanks to NIPEC, particularly for the work that they're doing in these challenging times, because without organisations like NIPEC, which is very small and punches way above its weight, our services would not be able to be provided in the way that they are. So a very warm and special thank you to NIPEC for the work that's been done. You've heard that this year is the year of the nurse and midwife, but it's also the start of a new decade, a new approach, as we know, the restoration of our executive, dedicated to, really giving their commitment to nursing and midwifery. So it's time for us to think about the positives, understanding we're all working in really challenging, difficult times, but to think about what's really good and positive about the work that we're doing and the fantastic contribution that you all make to citizens in Northern Ireland. And I want us to begin to speak with one voice. And many of you will have heard from me before, and I was glad that Alana and Laura mentioned it this morning, to begin to use that hashtag of let's talk nursing up and let's talk midwifery up and let's begin to talk as two professions. Of course, we launched our Nursing Now Northern Ireland campaign last year, maybe January of last year, and have been working very closely with countries and organisations around the world to ensure that nurses and midwives have a much more prominent voice in health policy making. I don't need to say much more, I don't think, about Nursing Now. I think Catherine has very well described that it is a global campaign designed to improve the health of the world, really, globally, by promoting the work that nurses and midwives do every day. And to highlight the fact that they can make a real difference in improving health outcomes and promoting gender equality and supporting economic growth. And a key goal for the Nursing Now campaign is that commitment to universal health coverage. And that does not just apply to countries that do not have the same health resource that we have here in Northern Ireland, but we do need to think about how we provide those services to everyone, all citizens in our population here. But it cannot be achieved, I don't believe, without the unique contribution of nurses and midwives. We're known, I think, well around the world, nurses and midwives, for compassionate care, for intimate hands-on care, and while maintaining person-centred and humanitarian values. Nurses and midwives in the world over are often first, and even sometimes the only healthcare profession that comes in contact with the person who needs care. And so the quality of that assessment and the quality of your intervention is really important. At this point, I'd like to suggest and use Catherine's phrase of think global but act local, which is glocal. Catherine developed that, and I think it really does resonate with me. The fact that we need to stay connected to what's happening globally, but we need then to adapt that and use it in our approach locally and make it relevant to our own practice. As nurses and midwives, you play a huge part in your own communities because, we all live and work in our communities and we all want the best for our communities. And there's a real opportunity there to help families, patients, citizens, and enabling them to manage their own healthcare needs. With a strong grounding in social justice and taking action to promote the human rights of people right from birth through working years and into old age and death, nurses and midwives are well placed, I think, to tackle these problems. Professor Sir Michael Marmot said when he was with us last year that nurses are the most trusted profession. Rightly so, in my opinion, but I would say that. They treat individuals with compassion and with care and have great potential to improve the health of our communities through action on the social determinants of health. If I turn briefly to Northern Ireland, then in terms of our own Nursing Now campaign, I've been really impressed in the year that what has been done since we launched it in just over a year, and I think for me that emphasises that mobilising people into a social community like that has real potential in making real change happen. The first of our priorities is homeless health. Homeless health is one of the biggest challenges, I believe, that faces the Western world. We know that a homeless person is 20 times more likely to die from drugs and 50 times more likely to have hepatitis. Statistics like this for me are just not acceptable. We know that the life expectancy for a person who's homeless is 44, and by any stretch of the imagination, that's way short of even people who we describe as the most deprived in our communities. It is for that reason that I've made tackling homelessness one of the key priorities in the Nursing Now campaign. And I started off with the intention of trying to raise awareness because, I'll be completely honest and say I didn't realise how bad the stats were until I began to look at it. So if we can raise the profile of that and begin to have conversations about that, that will generate interest and raise awareness of the problem. But actually, the homelessness group that we set up under Nursing Now, chaired by Nuala Toner, has taken that even further. And I've been so impressed with the work they've done so far. Last year saw the opening of the Homeless Health Hub in Belfast, not directly attributed to the Nursing Now campaign, I would say, but of course there has been strong nursing input in that. And I'm really grateful for the dedicated work that allowed that to happen. I want to specifically thank Nuala for her work and the Belfast Trust and the Welcome organisation for leading the way in that and role modelling what could happen with a little bit of creativity and innovation. Each health and social care trust is now working to identify the areas where additional focuses may be required to improve the health that's offered to homeless people in their local populations, as well as areas where nursing is already succeeding and improving the health and well-being of this vulnerable group. Midwifery also has a key role to play here. Homeless people, without stereotyping people, the population of homeless people has changed. We know that there are young girls who are homeless. We know there are pregnant ladies in the community who don't have access to maternity care and maternity services. And we know that there's trafficking going on in our local communities, and as nurses and midwives, we do have a role and a responsibility to advocate and provide services for that group of people. The second theme is value and diversity, a focus on our Northern Ireland campaign around increasing the numbers of men in nursing, but also looking at the challenges that face the female 92% population that we have. Many of you, if you are on social media, you may have seen David Ferran's blog at the weekend. It was posted on the Nursing Now website. David is a fantastic advocate of this work, and he co-chairs the group with Caroline Lee, and I know Caroline's here, I saw her somewhere earlier. And they have been leading the way in raising this as an issue. It's taken a very much a bottom-up approach, using measures identified by young male nurses in Northern Ireland in partnership with the Royal College of Nursing, and a number of projects have been carried out to give confidence to attract more males into the profession. In October last year, from the CEC, we facilitated secondary school visits across all 5 trusts, and while promoting the life-saving skills needed to restart a heart. I myself went to St Mary's Boys Grammar School in West Belfast with a number of our nurses from CEC and male nurses who'd actually come through the education system at that school. And they spoke very passionately about their role in nursing and were encouraging others to think likewise. But at the same time, they received priceless, I think, training around CPR and how to manage someone in a state of arrest in the community, and we talked to them about the availability of resuscitation defibrillators in the community. Furthermore, CEC ambassadors have recently attended a truck drivers event with a focus on men's mental health awareness, in which they promoted nursing as a rewarding career for all. And I know that there are plans to work with Stena Line for the truckers who use that service to transport their goods, to have the opportunity while on board the ship to talk about men's issues and mental health issues. And I think they are really, really pushing the boundaries of what we can do in our local communities, and all in their own time as well, I would say. So a special thanks to Caroline and to David for their leadership and taking that particular value and diversity work stream forward. And the third work stream then is the Leadership and Development Programme, which you've heard a little bit about this morning. I was delighted on behalf of all nurses and midwives in Northern Ireland to accept the Nightingale Challenge, and felt strongly that we should accept that challenge. Catherine has outlined the fantastic work that's been undertaken with the Nightingale Challenge Northern Ireland, the Global Leadership Programme. Again, I was particularly keen to develop something that would give young nurses the opportunity to look outside Northern Ireland, because we are a small community, and because I've had those opportunities in my career, and that has really shaped my thinking. And so if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for every nurse and midwife in Northern Ireland. So I wanted to create an opportunity for a number of our young nurses to be able to experience that. The results delivered by this programme, I think, will be invaluable to the future generation of nurses and midwives working here in our health system. And I was delighted to hear that the Health and Social Care Trusts have also established their own local Nightingale challenges. And we will be seeking opportunities throughout the year to bring everybody together so that they can share their experience and build that social community and network moving forward. The RCM, in collaboration with the department, recently launched a leading midwifery improvement programme, an initiative which was based on a 4-day development journey for Band 7 midwives and midwives from education who aspire to deliver and apply their leadership skills in a positive and supportive work environment. And midwifery, while it's a smaller profession, is equally as important and deserves the same focus as nursing. And we also are experiencing difficulty in seeing people wanting to come forward into senior leadership roles, particularly in midwifery. And I wanted to use this as an opportunity to try and encourage people to think about where they would see themselves in 5 years' time and how we could help them to get there. This is just one of many development programmes that is in place this year. Providing these opportunities to the next generation of our nurses and midwives is crucial to the process of strengthening our workforce and impact on the wider health and social care system. And we must do that collectively, and we must do it collectively with 2 voices, one for nursing and one for midwifery. I just wanted to mention, before we finish, the focus that I think we should put in 2020 in managing our own health and well-being. All of us are involved in pressurised jobs, regardless of our roles. all of us are making decisions which have huge implications for the person involved in that decision with us. And it's important in those situations that we do manage and look after our own health and well-being. And we have to take time out to talk about and think about our mental health as well as our physical health. That's why my team, as part of this year's Year of the Nurse celebration, are organising the Nursing Now Park Run. The Park Run will take place, hopefully, on the 9th of May in Stormont. And it will also, as you know, the Park Run runs every Saturday, or maybe you don't know, but the Park Run is a 5K run or walk, which happens in many, many public parks across Northern Ireland at 9:30 every Saturday morning. And we want to encourage everybody to take the opportunity to think about their health and well-being, be involved in the park run either as a runner or as a walker or as a volunteer, and also to raise the profile of nursing and midwifery as we do that around Northern Ireland on the 9th of May. So please look out for that, and I would encourage you all to be involved. We're also collaborating with the World Health Organization, as on that day they will have the Walk the Talk campaign, where all of the senior leaders who will be in Geneva for the World Health Assembly will gather on that Saturday, and they will complete a walk. Dr. Tedros, as you've heard, and Elizabeth Arrow will be there. Dr. Tedros last year led that walk. There will be senior leaders from all over the world, and they will be talking about nursing and midwifery, and we will be showing our commitment to it and linking in with that. The key messages are about health and well-being, about volunteering, and about being part of your local community. So I really do encourage you all to be interested in this activity to celebrate our profession. And we must continue to use the platforms such as Nursing Now and our Northern Ireland campaign to talk about the fantastic contribution that nurses and midwives are making in healthcare. It's widely recognised that our services are under huge pressure, and campaigns like this are really crucial in raising the role and the profile, the status, the work that you do, and the impact that you have on the citizens of Northern Ireland. So in conclusion then, in this, the final year of the Nursing Now campaign, I see 2020 as a great opportunity of hope, of enthusiasm, of commitment, of our profession stepping forward, showing that they can lead change, that they're up for leading change, and that actually they have the skills, the transferable skills and knowledge that we all have to make real change happen. With the restoration of our executive investment commitments in nursing and midwifery, and with 2020 being the International Year of the Nurse and the Midwife, we have much to celebrate. I look forward to everyone's participation in promoting the fantastic work that our nurses and midwives do right across Northern Ireland. And as a follow-on from our commitment to homeless health, I'm really pleased and delighted to be able to welcome to the stage this morning Sandra Moore, who's CEO of the Welcome organisation, to talk about homeless health. Thank you.